Hey everybody, Ted Forbes here from The Art of Photography, and today we're doing our book giveaway. This is for the Robert Doisneau book. If you're new to the show and you're not sure what we're doing here, I have an entire shelf of books over there that some of them I purchased, some of them people have donated, and we're doing a series of giveaways, and we're turning these into competitions and photo challenges. So we're using Twitter for this, and so this theme this week was street photography, and basically people submitted images, used the hashtag AOPBG, that stands for Art of Photography Book Giveaway, and submitted their images for consideration. And so what I'm doing is, I only have one book to give away this week. We have a bunch more coming up, but I'm featuring the top 20 or so photos that, we're having finalists on here. And I think that's really important and it's really cool. I've really enjoyed using Twitter for this because what I've noticed is, when I do these shows, I'm on this side of the lens, and I really like it when we can do things that start involving people who watch the show. And what I'm seeing is people are favoriting each other's work, they're retweeting stuff, they're sharing, and I really like this. You have people getting together that their commonality is that they all watch the show, and I think that's really cool. So major kudos to you guys for participating, and I hope you guys are having fun with this. And so anyway, we're going to be doing these book giveaways every week or so, and the theme this week was street photography. And one little point I want to make for future consideration of work. One thing is people have been a little frustrated with Twitter when they're not seeing their tweets in there, and go through and do some troubleshooting if you think that's the case. One thing we've noticed this week is if your account is set to private, people can't publicly view your stuff, so I won't be able to view it with the hashtag, and neither will anybody else. And it really makes no sense to use Twitter this way. You want to make sure your account is public so that people can see what you publish on there. And get a feel for it, get a feel for how it works, jump in and use it, and I think that's been very beneficial to people. So anyway, we've had really good work with success with that. And the other thing is, don't get discouraged if I haven't picked your work yet. I'm going to be the first to say that this was really hard. I had well over 100 images to choose from. I think probably more than 200. I didn't get a final tally on that. And there were a lot that it just was, we only have so much time on the show, and I really wanted to include everything. So I decided to get it down to the top 20 or so that we're featuring today, and one person will get the book. So if you haven't been featured yet, don't give up. It's just a really close call a lot of times, and it's all kind of opinionated, I know, on my end, and so keep trying is what I'm saying. So anyway, so we're going to have these about once a week, so stay tuned to the show, and we'll have different themes for each one. But anyway, let's go ahead and look at our street photography images for this week, and who wins the book, the Robert Doisneau book. So anyway, come on over and let's dig in. So we're going to go through the finalists and announce the winner of the finalists here. And guys, this was really, really tough this week. There were some really wonderful images submitted, but I think I got it down to what I think are the top ones, so we'll go ahead and go through these. First up is Saurabh Narang, and a wonderful image. I love this young man kneeling over, paying tribute here with the candles, and I love the soft glow on the face. There's a lot going on in this image that's really beautiful, and wonderful composition, great cropping, tells a wonderful story even though it's somber, and it's a really beautiful image, so very nicely done. Second up is Katerina Fleur, and love this. It's kind of two compositions in one. I love the way you have the color around the woman that's in the center of the image, and then kind of this, it's not done artificially, but there's a lack of color in black and white in the foreground. This is a gallery museum in Amsterdam. Really well done. Next up is Stephen Zhu, I believe it's how you say his last name. Really, really love this image. There's an obvious nod to Saul Leader here, but I don't think it's too derivative. I love the way these greens really make up the image, and really prominent color, really nice, and then it's abstracted because we're shooting through glass, so it's a softer focus with the policeman in the foreground, and then even that red car in the back, so really, really, really cool image. Tommy Culberson, and this is a really wonderful image. He says, "I wish all tourists looked like this." Man in a cloak holding up a camera and a cigarette, and I really think this works well with the background. I love the framing, I love the composition, and I love the placement of the subject, which is this individual holding up the camera. I like the fact that it takes up a very little amount of the image, but has a strong impact with the use of that negative space and texture in the back. So really, really nicely done. Nice work, Tommy. Next up, really pretty image. This is Vytautas Ambrasis, and this is taken in India, and really, really nicely done. Obvious odd to the masters of street photography like Cartier-Bresson and some of those guys, and a lot of energy and a positive image. Another one that I really like, this was an oddball. This is John B. He just labeled this Brom oil, but this is a what appears to be a bromoil process, which is a primitive alternative process in photography where you end up losing a lot of the detail. It looks like a charcoal painting. I love the way you make out the silhouettes of the people in the image. It kind of has a charcoal-like quality to it. It almost looks like they're looking at cave drawings, and very offbeat and unusual when you consider street photography. And I really like to see stuff like that. It really kind of pushes what we define as street photography. Next up, really nice portrait. This is David T. Rothschild. And this is Lunch Break, Shaw Neighborhood, Washington, D.C. Really wonderful portrait. I love the blues and the yellows that make up kind of the color scheme in this image. The reflection in the window, the expression on the face, really, really nicely done. Next up, this is a really cool image, very poignant. This is Sergio Gaytan, and I love this religious ceremony. The shoes have been left in the back, and everybody's facing forward except the one person turned around giving you the evil eye. Really interesting perspective in the shot, and really nicely done. Next up, this is Linda Enfield. Really love this. This is a really nice portrait. Interesting expression on the face, and I love the texture of this material that's behind him in the background, and it's just really nicely executed, so excellent work. Next up, obvious why I like this one, Peter Donnan, and when you have a shot that exudes personality like this, it's really amazing because, in the background there's a lot of people, there's kind of a loud, ugly billboard, but there's so much personality coming off of this woman with the 1950s retro sunglasses and the hook'em horns hand expression, and a lot of personality and sense of humor involved. So it's really, really nicely done. Next up, this is Gail. Gail is a internet friend of mine. She's a big fan of the show, I know. And I love this image. These two girls running after the runaway shopping cart. It's very quirky, very unusual, and I like it. I think it works really nicely. And it's just, again, brings a sense of humor into play, and very nicely done. Next up, this is kind of a darker image. I think it's really beautiful, though. This is Jet, and it's the username. And I love the way that the color is such a brilliant part of this composition. It's a lower exposure, so those colors are really vivid. And I like the fact that the use of negative space, taking up a little more than half the frame here, so it leads your eye into that other room with the mannequin. So really nicely done. Another one. This is one of my favorites. I really, really like this. This is Dan Culberson. Some amazing stuff going on with these street lights, with those reds and this ghostly appearance that they have. Taken in low light, once again, lower exposure, darker image. The subject, I guess, would be, the guy crossing the street with the briefcase. And, it's obviously been raining in this shot, so some really wonderful reflections coming off the street. But I really like those red lights and kind of that effect that they give off. And I assume this was probably shot through glass or something, but really, really vivid and interesting work. Hats off. This is an excellent image. Another one that's really nice. This is James Hyatt. This is called Diverted Traffic, and you have the schoolboy with the tie walking along the street. I love the way this is split in the middle, use of symmetry using the reflection in the water, the way the cone's brought into the image, and it's really nicely done. Next up, this is really cool. I love the way this divides the image up. This is Lorenzo Terranova. It's called Streets of Istanbul, and I love the mirror that's used where you see the reflection of the woman's face and then the reflection in her glasses. And it's really interesting how, you have a lot going on in this image that could potentially be distracting with the crowd and the graffiti and the writing and the sunglasses, all the stuff that's going on in this image. But the way the heads line up and the way that mirror breaks the image is really well done. The lighting is good, and just very nice work. Next up, this is Kai Mai, and I love the expressions here. When you can get interactions with street photography that start to mentally want to tell a story, I think that's when things start to really work. You have these two boys sitting on the stoop looking at this woman. Also, the line of sight, you start to get these, geometrical breakups of the image as far as composition goes. And it's really nicely done. Next up, another nod to Bresson, certainly, but this is Black Deviance is the username on this. Really interesting how this works and leads your eye through the center of the composition. You have this small figure in the middle of the man in black, and then these three children in the front. The French translation basically means memories that have either died or will. So it's darker tone to the image, and really wonderful. So good work. Next up, very funny image again. Chris Houston. I love that he's playing off of the shark that's mounted to the side of this ice cream shop, and what a perfect moment where you have a guy who's ready to go surfing in the mouth of the shark. I even like the quirkiness of the way this guy's looking on, the way the composition is divided between the yellow facade and then the blue wall, but really that shark is obviously what makes the picture and brings that sense of humor in, so nicely done. Another one that I really like, this one is just absolutely perfect in terms of cropping, storytelling, etc. This is Alessandro Fagioli, and this is the Human Tower in Barcelona, and I love this, the expression on the face. This guy is about to have a lot of weight on his back, and I like the cropping on this because if he were standing further back and you had more faces in the image, it wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have brought your attention into the expression on this boy's face, and if it were closer, you might not get the full impact too. So this is just outstanding, a perfect composition. Next up, a very funny image as well. This is Ronald A. Schwartzman, and I love this. The woman on the phone who is pregnant, and she's standing in front of a large picture on the wall of what this lobby will look like finished, and the harsh perspectives that come out with the vanishing points, they all kind of lead into the bubble in her stomach. So it's very it's kind of a nice play on shape and people, and it's kind of humorous as well. So very nice work. Next up, lovely image, very mature composition. This is a bookstore. You have a mirror in the front. He waited for the moment when this woman with a red coat is walking by, and you have a British flag that's hanging out a window. A lot to look at here. It's a very dense image, but really nicely done. I like the muted colors. Looks like it probably was shot on film. This is Maz's photo. Really nice work. I really like that image. Another one that I thought was really interesting. This is Messner, and Messner actually submitted a bunch of photos that were really good, but I think this one really was the strongest one for me. And what I like about this is, one, the obvious play with scale. The human figure who's in the image is very small on the bottom of the image, and this is, very much dwarfed by these large buildings, and also the obvious use of light in this, which is really kind of interesting too. Looks like it was probably shot late in the day, early in the morning, where the sun on the horizon with the harsh shadows and direct light. So really nicely done. Next up, very funny, playful image. This is Marcelo Zacharias. I love the tutu and the expression on the girl's face. A lot of happiness going on in this image. Not too much that muddies this in terms of the coherence and the composition. It's just really nicely done. And again, a nod to the past masters on this as well. So really, really cool. Next up, I absolutely love this. This is Alex Nanau, I believe is how you say it. This is very quirky, very offbeat, very loose, and very fun. And you have I don't know what's going on with the legs behind these balloons, but really like that. I like the out-of-focus girl in the foreground who's got the expression that's looking on, and it draws your eye in. Really, really nicely done. And I love the sense of humor that's brought in to this image as well. Colors are very nice. There's just a lot of really cool stuff to look at, so very cool. Next up, another classic shot, kind of a nod to Robert Frank or something like that. I love the vintage automobile with the dog in the back. This is Lisa Marie Stevens, and really cool image. Kind of fun at the same time, and really like that Robert Frank-esque imagery that comes into play. Next up, this is really cool. This is Al Reed, and this is an interesting composition. I love the color in it. I love the fact that the subjects are on the far left. There's weight brought to that being close to the edge like that, and your eye is led through with the way the architecture is set up in this composition, as well as that red door. And it ends up being kind of like negative space in a way that leads your eye into the two guys on what looks to be a smoke break or something like that. So really, really cool street image. Moving along, we have a wonderful portrait here. This is Greg Hudgens, and I love the expressions on the faces, this kind of intimate family feel, great black and white image, and he says this is a first for developing and scanning, and really nicely done. Works pretty well. You do have some ring lines going on where the film is touching the scanner, but we'll let that go. It's a great image. Really nice work. Next up is Justin Cliff, and he also submitted several images. I really love this one. Great expression, what appears to be a chef encouraging this woman to eat something, and just the way those facial expressions really tell a story. And again, that comes into, I think people throw the word decisive moment around quite a bit, but I think this really embodies a lot of that. So now we are ready to determine the winner. So out of this bunch, who is going to get the Doisneau book? And our winner is Alex's photo of the balloons. This was a tough one, guys. I have changed my mind about 3 different times, but this image for me, I picked because the personality, again, the sense of humor and playfulness, curiosity, there's a lot to look at in this image, and it transcends a lot of other things. You know, there's certainly images we had that, you know, had perfect symmetry going on and interesting things leading your eye through the composition, but this one is just, it's fun, and it really has a lot of personality to it. And check out Alex's work. He does some really nice stuff. Very good street photographer. I believe he's located in Moscow. And you know, if you go follow him on Twitter, he's at F_links, LYNX, and he has a link in there to his Flickr stream. And there's some really awesome work that he does. So anyway, hats off to Alex. He is the winner. And we're going to do another competition next week. So if you didn't get into this one or you want to keep entering, please do. Keep at it. There's really some wonderful photos. I'm trying to give everybody a shot to be featured, and you know, please submit more work, and I will announce what the theme and the competition is going to be in the next couple days. So thank you everybody who participated in this, and we've had a lot of fun. And once again, thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.